All right, welcome to our fabulous Sonder fam here on Sunday evening. Goodness, the weekends go by so quickly. We are going to spend some time together setting up your journal for the week. Now, I saw some folks asking in the chat, hey, are you all using your August journal or are you using September? Obviously, if you don't have your August journal and you're new and you're starting with September, that's what you're going to use, and we'll give you both sets of pages. Otherwise, if you have August, some people like to kind of finish up. Yeah, Crystal's saying, I'm not ready for September. I'm going to finish up in August. And my rule of thumb is always whichever month has the most days in it, that's what I go with. So August still has 4 of the days left in this week. So I'm going to go ahead and stick in August and then move into September. And believe me, if I ruled the world, all months would start, the first would always be on a Monday. And we'd always only have 4 weekends because I like to be all neat and tidy. But that's not how it is. So we're just going to have to kind of power through. Oh, see, Chris is already nominating me for queen. Thank you. That would be my first order of business, is fixing the calendar. So welcome, everyone. I know there's probably some new folks. Just so you know, these setups and really all of our Sonder socials are, your microphones are off, your cameras are off. You don't have to worry about any of that. It's only me. And it's also my fabulous stage manager here, Jennifer Ogilvie. She will be helping me man the chat. She's gonna pop on, well, she kind of, oh, there she is, pop on, give a little wave. She's in Texas, so she's where it's nice and warm. I am here in Denver, Colorado, where it was actually warm again today. We had a couple cool days. Friday and Saturday were in the 70s. We had some rain on Friday, but I know a lot of you are in super hot weather. Yes, Crystal's saying I'll vote for you if you get, yes, I will get rid of the daylight savings time. Even if we have to add another month, I feel like we could have we could add a fun month, you know, to get everything kind of tidied up. But yeah, Jennifer's saying they got 6 drops of rain a few minutes ago and they sizzled on the sidewalk. So one of the things to note is that the chat sometimes goes really quickly. So if you're new and the chat is starting to get a little overwhelming, it's cool to just kind of let it float by. Think of it as like a lovely river with lots of information in it, and you can kind of check it out every once in a while, but don't let it stress you out. Some people, when they hop on here, they like to really focus on the chat, get some ideas. They take a lot of notes, they use sticky notes, and then they work on this after the social is over. Some people never mess with the chat. They are kind of head down in the journal working. It's whatever works for you, right? The one thing I will tell you is make sure that you set your chat to everyone. So everyone here, assuming you want everyone to see it, everyone can see your comments. So let's dive in here really quickly. Just a few logistical things. Our community guidelines. We want to make sure that this is a safe and supportive space for all of our Sonder fams. So we ask that you're kind and courteous to others as well as yourself. No promotions or spam. We respect everyone's privacy. There's no hate speech or bullying. We try to limit those repetitive product and accessory questions. So if you're asking about pins and stickers, it's not a problem to kind of pop in like, oh, where did you get your stickers, or what kind of pins do you use? The best place to ask those questions, though, really is in Sonder Club, because then you can get lots of folks sharing what they use for their journal. If you have any customer care inquiries, like, for example, shipping maybe is delayed. I know even our fabulous facilitator, stage manager here, Jennifer, have you got your September journal yet? She had not gotten her September journal yet, and she had to let them know at headquarters so they could send out another. So she also had to send an email to hello@silkandsonder.com. She said it's coming tomorrow, so she's still without her September. They're the ones who can help. Jennifer and I don't have access to your account. So just kind of ask them. Just keep in mind that they're a Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 kind of companies. So give them a little bit of time to respond back. And ultimately, remember, these socials are a tool to help you elevate your emotional health through the power of community. And I think we have a fabulous community here, very supportive and positive. But remember, ultimately, you're responsible for your own emotions, well-being, and decisions. So if there's ever anything that's not grooving with you in one of these socials, don't like to fill out a particular spot, the music isn't kind of your speed, feel free to, you can always mute the music and turn on we have the transcription, the closed caption that will pop up, and you can just kind of skip. So really, this is for you. This is here, time for you to take some self-care time. And this setup is often very, very important for folks. It really helps them kind of get through the week, right? So this really is our last week, technically last 4 days with that theme of tranquility. Not that you have to give up tranquility, right? But we will be diving into a new theme for next month. But we're still in a little bit of tranquility here, so we're going to keep in with that theme. And with that, we are going to do our tranquility mind map. So for our weekly setups, we always have what we call a mind map, where we can kind of dig into that theme, dig into different areas of our life, get a little bit deeper. This isn't anything that's in your journal. This isn't anything that is in Sonder Club. This is specific to these weekly setup socials. And so we do that every month. We're going to do that. We'll do our rosebud thorn reflection. And then we'll dive into that weekly setup. I always use these two little cartoons here from the artist, The Latest Kate, because I think that it's very important. The messages are very important. The first one says, there's room for you here just as you are. Sometimes things are going great and you want to share your successes. You want to share those fabulous things. Please share them. We love to celebrate with you. Conversely, sometimes life is not going so great, right? Likes to throw those curveballs and things maybe, having some issues. Share your struggles with us too. We're here to support you. We're here to give you some positive intentions and kind of keep you in your thoughts. So don't worry about, I'm sharing too much positive, I'm going to sound like I'm bragging, or I'm sharing too much negative. Again, remember, we're here to support you. The other one is the way you feel matters, and no emotion you feel is bad or unworthy. So we're here to feel the feels and kind of get through life together, right? And hopefully you feel a little bit better and a little more on top of things as we move through this next week. So again, tranquility mind map. We're exploring how we can embrace that sense of tranquility in our lives. If you weren't here for the other 4 weekends, you'll see the whole list. That's the other thing I always like to suggest to folks, is that you take screenshots or you grab your camera and take a quick picture of the slides so that you can go back later if you're not fast enough to write. And often I will kind of cycle through the different areas so that you can see some of the different ideas, so you don't have to forget those. So here we are. This is week of 5, right? And we are on balance. So this one at the bottom, you can see we've gone through thoughts, emotions, and feelings, being active, slowing down, and now balance as it relates to tranquility. So what things in your life do you need more of? What things do you need less of? And how could you address this need for balance? So again, this is on a blank page in your journal. This could be on sticky notes. This could be on scratch paper. This could be on, if you have a thoughts journal, whatever works for you. Again, if you are just now joining us and you weren't here for the previous 4 weeks, just focus on this last week, this idea of balance. What things in your life do you need more of, less of, and how can you address this need for balance? And I wanted to show you, Jennifer's very resourceful, and she went back to our September 2022 journal, where the theme was looking at this idea of balance, and there was a balance exercise. So if you're kind of trying to think of how to approach this idea of balance, this is a really nice little T-chart, right? So it's saying, how can you find balance with these opposing ideas? I'm withdrawing from X and connecting with Y, or this is ending and this is beginning. I fear this, but I embrace this or that. My struggle, my power. So kind of seeing the two different areas as we're looking for balance. So I'll show you, this is my journal. And I kind of wrote down, just really quickly thinking, I just kind of did a more or less, right? I need more space, less clutter. I need more downtime, less overscheduling. I need more vitamins, less sugar, more movement, less sitting, more outdoors, less screen time. So that was kind of my frame of mind as I was thinking and going through those. So I'll cycle through these slides for you so that you can see, play a little bit of music, check back in here in just a moment. Feel free to share in the chat if you kind of what you're thinking of when you think of balance, what things do you need more of, less of, and really how are you going to address that need for balance in this coming week. All right. All right, so hopefully you got some ideas for the more and the less of, or if you decided you wanted to go with the balance with opposing ideas, this is kind of a fun way to think about it too. So hopefully, again, maybe some ideas for things you can do. Keep this in mind, and I'll remind you when we start to do our to-do list and we work on our habits and some of these other sections, I will remind you, look back at what you wrote for this, right? And see how you can kind of tie that together as we go through. So what we want to do now is we want to spend some time reflecting on the last week. It's always very, very important to spend just a little bit of time reflecting back on what we did the previous week. If you're like me, you're always rushing through everything and you forget all the good things and the things you're looking forward to, and maybe even some of the struggles. So this is our Rosebud Thorn. It's on page 50 in August. If you don't have August and you're starting with September, you can use any free space in there, blank page. You can use the scratch pad section that's in the weekly. You could use a sticky note, kind of like whatever works for you here. So we're first going to talk about our rose, which is a highlight, something exciting that you had for the week, something that was good, something that was fun, something that made you smile. Doesn't have to be huge. It can be something small, but just that highlight. So mine was, we did, we love Disneyland. We used to have annual passes. We have not had them for the last year, which kind of makes me sad, but we've actually been going out a fair amount anyway. So we spent a day in Disneyland. And so that definitely was a rose for me. And then a bud is something that's coming up an emerging opportunity, something you're looking forward to, something that is a possibility, something that is coming up. And I've actually seen a lot of really interesting articles about how it's so important for us to have something to anticipate, because it's that anticipation sometimes that gives us hope, that makes us feel good, makes us kind of positive as we go into the future. So for me, my husband and I will be traveling to Kansas, where my sister lives with her kids, and it's my nephew's birthday. He will be 17, and we're going to spend some time with him. And so that will be fun because he is a total crack up. And then my thorn, thorn is a challenge, something frustrating, maybe something a little out of your control. Maybe you're learning something new and it's causing some stress. Maybe there's, for some reason, there's something that's impeding your efforts. So it's pain points. So I have been working on trying to sew this pair of pants. I am not an expert seamstress by any means. And I have a friend who's been helping me, and we've been working on these pants, and they're pretty simple pants, but and I feel like I've gotten pretty good, but I've learned a lot. So that's been good, but it definitely has been a bit of a struggle this week. So reflect on those. I'll play a short little song. Feel free, and folks are sharing in the chat different kinds of things that their rose, their bud, their thorn. Keep in mind, sometimes one thing can be all three of those areas, right? When we were remodeling the bedroom, that was a rose, a bud, and a thorn all at the same time, right? Because different aspects of it. So I'll check back in here in just a moment and let us know what your rose, your bud, and or your thorn was this week. All right, I know that was a quick amount of time, but I saw lots of folks were sharing in the chat some of their rose, bud, and thorns. We have a lot of folks going back to school, or kiddos going back to school. I know we have a lot of teachers, a lot of educators here with us. And so definitely Jennifer and I were talking about, because she's retired from education and I'm in K-12 education. And we talked about how it was kind of a struggle this month with the theme of tranquility with back to school has been a little kind of at opposite ends there. So I know for a lot of folks, that is definitely something that could be a rosebud and a thorn, right? Definitely as that goes forward. So let's jump in to our weekly planner. We are this is week 35 of the year, believe it or not. We are trucking right ahead here. It's either going to be pages 52 and 53 in your August journal, or it will be pages 26 and 27 if you have the September journal. So the first thing that we're going to tackle is how you want to feel for the week. And I bought this really fun package of random kind of motivational stickers. So I've been having fun with these stickers. And I found this sticker that I liked that said, "You are beautiful, you are strong, and you are worth it." And I really kind of like that, because I want to focus on some self-compassion for myself this week. I've been a little hard on myself sometimes. And so that's kind of where I'm focusing. So this how you want to feel is really kind of how you want to show up for the world this week, what you want to project, what you want to put out in the world, because often what we put out in the world is what we get back, and that's what we need, right? So I just Googled stickers on Amazon. I just kind of went into Amazon and found like, I just typed in motivational stickers and found like random packs of stickers. So as you think about this, some people it's one word. So you can see we have mighty, valued, celebrated. Some people have multiple words. So accomplished, in control, peaceful, courageous, alive, optimistic. There's all these different words. I see lots of people putting things in the chat. We have worthy, perky. I like perky. That's fun. Calm, tranquil, centered, right? So lots of different, energized. So keep thinking of that word. And once you have that word, what we're going to do is we're going to dive into our 3 major goals. And believe me, I'll give you some time to do both of these if you haven't quite picked your word or how you want to feel yet. But they're very closely tied together. And we always tell folks, when you come up with these goals, think about if you achieve this goal, how does it help you with that feeling that you wanted for that week, right? So really kind of center these goals around this feeling that you want for the week. So you might want to go back to your August intentions page. Remember that we did way back at the beginning of August? What were your intentions? You might want to look at that monthly habit tracker, see what kinds of things you put in there. Maybe set goals through the lens of tranquility for this last week in August. Maybe you want to do some no goals. So things like no alcohol, no doom scrolling. Maybe it's no more than a certain amount of minutes on social media, no impulse spending, no takeout. Oh, Amanda, I love that. Your 5-year-old said excited. Love it. Look back at your previous weeks or journals to see if there's any outstanding goals that you still want to keep working on that you want to bring forward. Maybe you want to have a personal challenge goal, like a fitness challenge or a cleaning challenge, decluttering, self-care. Maybe it's you want to try some new recipes. So it's like a soup or salad or smoothie challenge for things that you want. Here's some examples of things that some Sonder folks have put in for their 3 goals and ways they've kind of divided up the 3. So I like the one up in the right. She has mind, body, spirit. So those are the 3 areas that she has developed some goals in. And notice she also has her why. So for mind, she has daily meditation, and the why is to feel more grounded and centered. For the body, she has daily movement. Why? To feel more energized. For spirit, she has daily gratitude. Why? To feel more appreciative and abundant in all areas. So I love that idea of, kind of thinking about your why. And yes, you could absolutely, Reverend Joellen, you could totally have a goal being to get the daily Wordle in 2 tries. You could totally have that as a goal. I love that. So really kind of think about that. You could also, if you're like, you know what, I have these big goals, but I have them somewhere else. I don't know that I necessarily want them here in my weekly page. You could always repurpose this section. Maybe you have 3 new words that you want to focus on, like vocabulary words. Maybe you're learning a new language and you want to pop those in there. Maybe it's movies or TV shows that you want to watch. Maybe it's a playlist for the week. Maybe it's 3 fun activities for yourself. Whatever kind of works for you in this section. But like I said, if you're going to set some goals, we recommend 3. You can always do fewer. Probably don't want to do too many more. I know some people want lots and lots of goals, but again, remember, this is kind of thinking more for the week ahead. So kind of focus on those 3. So let us know in the chat. I'll again keep kind of scrolling through these slides so you can see these ideas, and we'll check back in here in just a moment. I love the laundry goals and everyone sharing where their laundry is. I'm pretty good about putting laundry away, but there's almost always a pile that shows up on like a corner in the room or something. So yes, you could certainly have some of those for goals. So if you haven't got that part yet, that's fine. I just want to walk you through the next part, which is the to-dos, because again, some people like to make their to-do list first and then they go back and focus on the goals, sometimes vice versa. So I did pop this in from the Silk and Sonder Instagram page. And if you don't follow Silk and Sonder on Instagram, highly recommend it. Lots of positive, fun ideas and things to look at. So they had posted a few weeks back a things to notice challenge of 5 days to self-discovery. And so they had day 1, notice what energizes you and what drains you. Day 2, notice how certain people make you feel. Day 3, notice the way you talk to yourself. Day 4, notice what you need help with. And day 5, notice what you are grateful for. So these could be, one of these might be a to-do or maybe is a goal that you can use as you look forward with the week. The other thing that I found that I thought I would share with you, if you were with us for Gretchen Rubin's fireside chat when she was talking about the senses, right, our 5 senses, she has a clear the decks bingo, which I know our Sonder fam love a good bingo. So this actually came in an email because I had signed up for she has an email newsletter. So this was kind of fun in there. And it's got some fun little ideas about things that could also go onto your to-do list. You don't have to make a bingo board. You might look at this and be like, okay, I'm going to delete unused apps as a to-do and wash my car. Right. So those are great. Yeah. So these are definitely some fun things to look at. And then also here's some examples of things that some folks have done. We have the to-do list or a ta-da list, right? When you get it done, you say ta-da and you write it down and then you can check that off. We also have a lot of folks that like to use the Eisenhower matrix, which are those little boxes down in the right that kind of have you decide, you look at each thing and say, is this important and urgent that I'm going to do it? Important but not urgent that I need to decide. Maybe I need to set a different deadline. Not important but urgent, I'm going to delegate, or not important and not urgent, I might delete. And remember, the results you want rarely come without a process of gradual steps toward it. So I always think of these to-dos as gradual steps toward our goals. Oops, sorry. It's going too fast there. And I'll cycle through these as I play some music for you to work on these. But here's some other ideas. One person did a to-be list. So they want to be present, be encouraging, be confident, be brave, be uncomfortable, be thoughtful, be intentional. Some people just like to put some stickers in there. Again, people love the bingo. You can make a little mini bingo board. They have me, family, and home, and they have some to-dos for each one of those areas. And you could try dividing it up as a morning and an evening routine. Again, just kind of thinking about how you want to set this part up, the to-dos and the goals. So again, I'll play a little music. I'll cycle back through these slides. So again, remember, take a quick snapshot, screenshot, so you can kind of take a look, and we'll check back in here in just a moment. All right. So lots of good ideas. I love though, someone was talking about the person with the 5,000 books or something in their house. And I was like, I don't even know how many books we have, but I bet it's probably pretty close to 5,000. We've actually gotten rid of a lot of books um, just because there's no more room to put them anywhere, which is always sad. But I always feel like, again, books can come and go. I can always get more, right? They're always out there. So hopefully you were able to get some ideas, got some screenshots of some of these different things, made some notes of some things that you want in that to-do list. And then we're going to jump down to the habits and activities, right? And I thought this was really important to kind of think about. I came across this. So they say it takes 21 days to start a habit, 12 weeks to find a groove, 6 months to lock it down, 1 year to crave it, 2+ years to make it part of your identity. So when you set a habit, these are your milestones. And I see some folks saying, oh, I've had the same habit on here for the last 3 weeks. I need to have something new. Or they think they have to come up with brand new things to put here in the habit activity section every week. And you really don't. You might have one thing new, right? But again, 21 days to start a habit, right? That's going to be 3 weeks. So you're carrying that through for 3 weeks to start a habit, right? Not to necessarily create it, Andrea, but it says to start it. 12 weeks to find your groove, right? So really find out, and again, finding out if that's working for you. Like, is that habit actually serving you? How many of you have put a habit on here, you try to do it, you do it, but you realize like, this is not actually serving me, right? This is not actually a thing that I actually want to do. Take it back off of there, right? 6 months to lock it down, right? That's a long, long time. A year to crave it, again, so you really want to do it, 2+ years to make it part of your identity. So I think about things like making your bed. I am a hardcore bed maker and I just do it. Like, it's not a thing I have to write down anymore. It's just, but I've been doing it for many years now. So it definitely, when I started doing it, it took me a while to kind of get into that groove, but I love it because then I kind of have something done right off the bat at the beginning of my day. So think about that as you come up with these habits and activities, and also think about your monthly habit tracker, that wheel that's at the beginning of the month. So these are more for maybe things that you, not necessarily a habit, but maybe an activity that needs to happen maybe multiple times this week. So things like you can see somebody has unplug, go to the gym, wake up early, water daily, get outside. I really like the one under that has the just say no activities. So they're going to delete 50+ emails, declutter 4 bags of stuff, have 3 days without sugar, throw away expired food, and no social media. So they have that on there. One person has hydrate, and that's all I have. And that's absolutely fine, right? You do not have to fill out every single one of these lines. One person has dishes, laundry, and daily ritual, right? Perfect. And then another person has all 7, right? You can have, again, kind of whatever makes sense for you as you go through. Oops, I didn't want to, so I have that. So again, think about these as milestones. Think about how you want to set this part up. I'll play a brief little song as you work on this section, and then we'll check. Yeah, and Melissa's saying, I have had hydrate for 2 months and I still can't get it down. So maybe you want to break it down a little bit. Maybe you want to say 3 8-ounce glasses of water before noon. Maybe you want to be much more specific, right? Maybe the hydrate, your brain is like, yeah. But if you say, okay, I'm going to drink 3 of these glasses before noon, then you have a very specific activity, and then you can really hit that goal. So think about if there's something on there that you haven't been doing, but you really want to do it, think about how you might flip that around or reword as you go through and see how that works. So let us know what habits you're going to pop on here. I'll check back in here in just a moment. All right. Do you have some habits or activities that you've written down? And again, maybe this week it doesn't make sense to you. You don't need anything extra here. You've already got some to-dos. You're good. You can just doodle in this section. You can put some stickers, right? Like whatever kind of works as you go through the week. And I liked some folks were saying, I tried I tried to do the to-do list last week and it didn't really work for me. So I'm going back to the to-do list. And that's the great thing about a new week every week, right? We can try something new, try it out for the week, see how it works. If it doesn't work, switch back to what you were doing before, or find something new to try again, right? We get that chance every 7 days to kind of flip it up and try something new. So let's jump over to what one of our facilitators calls the B side, right? We had the A side, now we've got the B side, kind of little extra things to kind of keep track of or things to kind of list here on page 53. If you're in August, page 27, if you're in September. So the meal plan, I feel like, is one of the most frequently repurposed sections. Lots of people are like, what else can I do with this? I already track my food in some other sort of online tracker, or I plan things somewhere else. So I'm going to give you a plethora of ideas for things you can do. Obviously, planning meals is great and can be super helpful. I like to specifically plan dinner because did you ever think as an adult you would have to keep answering the question, what's for dinner? Every day, right? So sometimes if I have it planned, then I can feel at least I don't have to ask that question for the day. So you can use it for that. Some people like to use it to track their food as they eat it to help go back later if they're having any sort of symptoms, like maybe migraines or maybe some gastrointestinal issues. Then when they go back, they can look and say, what did I eat? What might have triggered that? Or you can use it for daily affirmations. You can use it for a work and study tracker, exercise tracker, a cleaning plan, a resting plan. You could use it for a packing list. I like to use it for a packing list when I'm going to go on a trip because it helps me not overpack because I can kind of plan out my meals for each day. You could also do maybe a weekly favorite thing. You might also, if you're trying to balance something more and less, maybe you can tell yourself what you're going to have more of each day or less of each day, right? You could certainly use it like that. Here's some other examples of things that folks have done: wardrobe tracker, appointments or socials. You want to kind of keep track of those, a chore list. Again, those affirmations, and notice that's kind of fun. They have the little colored water droplets where they kind of colored what they were. I'm assuming it's whatever they were drinking. So maybe black is like tea or coffee, and then the blue is water, but different ways to kind of track as you go through that. So I'll play again a brief little song. Think about how you want to use this little section, and we'll check back in here in just a moment. Okay. I saw some folks had some good ideas for things that they could use it for. They can repurpose it for something. And other people saying like, oh, I actually have, my doctor wants me to kind of track what I'm eating so we can kind of take a look and see, how that's working. So again, you can use it as intended, or you can use it to repurpose. I do recommend sometimes if you're brand new and this is your first week with the journal, I always kind of say each of these sections, like try them as intended just to see how that feels, see how that works. And then you can always switch it up, and you can always switch it up during the week too, right? You're like, that's not working out for me after a couple of days. I'm going to kind of switch things up and see what works. So speaking of that, let's dive into that mind body health plan section, that little square there up in the top. Lots of different ways that you can think about this, right? The idea is that it's things that you're planning that are good for your mind and or your body, right? So here's some examples of things that folks have done. Love the fun little alliteration here where we have meatless Monday, TV free Tuesday, walking Wednesday, thoughtful Thursday, right? They kind of have these fun different ideas for how they want to approach each day. The one underneath was very ambitious, and they gave themselves 3 options and they just had to pick one each day. So they have things like meditate on daily ritual, 15 minutes on stationary bike, review September ritual. So they have these 3 different ideas and they just have to pick one for each day. The person up in the top middle is doing the 7 types of rest, if you've ever heard of that, or you can just Google 7 types of rest. So the idea is that we need rest, but sometimes we need different kinds of rest. So sometimes we need emotional rest, or sensory, spiritual, social, mental, creative, and physical. And so they've kind of looked to find different ways to embrace those different types of rest as they go forward. Person down underneath that, they have some different things that they want to do for each day. And notice they have Saturday and Sunday, they say relax, right? They're going to relax on those days. Oh, yes. And Jennifer popped in the link for the 7 types of rest. And then there's a little quiz that was on the Silk and Sonder blog that you can actually take to, and it will tell you what type of rest would be good for you based on how you answer those questions. Some people like to use this as a little bingo. They did a little chore bingo here. We've also got the mind body health plan where someone had just divided it up into something I did well this week and some ways I loved others this week. And so they just kind of blocked out the days with the washi tape and are using it to answer those 2 particular questions. So think about that. Again, a brief little song. Feel free to let us know how you're going to use this section, what kinds of things you're going to put in there. And we'll check back in again here in just a moment. All right. So hopefully you've got a little something in there or a thought. And again, remember, sometimes you don't always need to fill in every single spot, right? Maybe there's just certain things that you're tracking and you're really good with just those 3 goals and those to-dos, and you don't need to fill in the rest. Put in stickers, drew a doodle, right? Use some washi tape. Don't feel pressure. The journal should never be a source of pressure or guilt or anything like that that you feel like you have to work on. So this next little section, you will see lots of people love to make little bingos in their shopping list. So this is lots of fun little examples with that. Obviously, you can use it as a true shopping list, things you need to go and purchase. I like, again, packing list works really well. Sometimes it's just a reminder to yourself for no unnecessary spending. I love the one stay out of the dollar store. Right. Maybe it's that one person divided it into self-care, right? Read a book and watch a movie, and then restore my soul, eat out, get a latte, have a cup of tea. If you saw, the Starbucks pumpkin spice lattes are back. So maybe that will be something that you want to put in as a treat that you can have. Again, self-care bingo, love that idea. Mind, body, heart bingo. Cleaning bingo, birthday bingo. Someone had a fun little birthday bingo that they did. Fun different ways to repurpose the shopping list. And I'll also show you the I am loving section, so you can work on both the shopping list and the I am loving at the same time. So I am loving is just, the idea is what are you loving right now? What are you just like, this is so great? Maybe it's a song, maybe it's like kitten cuddles in bed. Maybe you've been feeling really creative. Books and tea, Silk and Sonder journaling, feeling creative, me, daily rituals, right? Kind of think of that. You don't always have to fill it out right now. Maybe it's something in midweek. You go back and kind of pop in there. So a little bit of a song, keep working on your journal, whichever section you need to be working on. And we'll check back here in just a few minutes. All right. So hopefully you've got some good ideas for how to use each of these sections. Again, sometimes it's too much, right? Sometimes there's too much. Sometimes I'm like, oh, too many boxes to fill in, too many things to track. I don't need to track all this stuff. I'm just going to maybe track a couple things and go from there. Again, remember, do what works for you. It can change every week, right? Our lives change regularly. So think about what you need and use the journal for you. I did want to spend just a few minutes going through some ways, because a lot of folks had asked, what do you do with these daily pages, right? Where you have the day and it starts at the top, it says one thing. What do y'all put in the one thing part? So here's some examples of things that folks have done. One person has it divided. They have a highs and lows, brain dump, self-care, and household. So they can kind of write some things down there. Another person next to them has some events, some to-dos, and some chores, and an affirmation written down at the bottom. So that's another way that you can kind of split up what that looks like. I divide mine in half. And so I have kind of like day and then evening, like day with work and then evening, so that I can kind of keep those separated a little bit. You can see some people use the one thing to do the affirmation. So I use it, the one thing, to write in the daily affirmation from Sonder Club. So that's always good to write in there. Some people, yeah, Andrea is saying I sometimes do my daily ritual there, right? Excellent place to kind of take notes. This is the person who has like the Motivation Monday, Transformation Tuesday, Wellness Wednesday, and they kind of have their tasks listed under that. One person has chores that they put in the one thing each day. And they have a verse, a quote, and an affirmation that they've kind of put in there to kind of see what kinds of things, what that looks like. And it's very pretty. I love kind of the color they color in those boxes. And that definitely is a pretty way to take a look at that. Here's a few more. I think, so I'm not sure what they put in the one thing. I don't know if it was like reading a book, or because they have a rich life and then they have January reflections. They also circle the weather. I rarely use the weather part, but sometimes that's helpful, especially if you're tracking something. You know, think about, is there something where you're wondering, like, is there a pattern to this? Is there a pattern to my emotions? Is there a pattern to my behavior? And so if you track some different things, you might notice that. So again, they have exercise, brain dump, and to-dos. Another person has a list of things they accomplished. So that's kind of that ta-da list, right? Self-care and things that they're going to do tomorrow. I'm not sure what a kitty shift is, but maybe they're shifting the kitties around from one place to another. I don't know. It's always fun, but you know, we use real life Sonder fam examples. We get them from the Sonder Club app. So if you notice one of yours, sometimes that does happen. We don't say whose it is, but you're always welcome to kind of call out if you see yours on here. That's why we ask, please share your weekly planner with us in that Sonder Club. You never know who you might inspire with a picture of how you use it. Even if you think like, oh, this is really basic, I don't think anybody's going to, you know, be interested in this. So always be sure to share that setup if you've, or a space you've repurposed. We love to see that. Excuse me. So believe it or not, this is always the fastest hour of the day. I don't know how this hour goes so fast. I wish treadmill hours and work hours went this fast. So just a couple of things to show you. We have these QR codes. We're still doing the Refer a Friend program, where if you refer a friend and they sign up for Silk and Sonder, you get $10 and they get $10. So make sure you share that particular link with them. We're also running a special right now, upgrading to an annual subscription. So if you're on for a monthly subscription, I think you can scan this QR code. It should take you to log into your account and you can upgrade. It's a, you pay it all up front, right? So, but you do save $110 as opposed to the monthly. And then of course, hopefully everyone is on the app in Sonder Club, checking those out. We have so many great things in there. We have the daily affirmations, we have rituals, we have there's some different little meditations that are in there. Lots of great things that you can see. And then Jennifer will throw in the chat the YouTube link where you can find all the recordings of our socials. We have over 500 in there now. So you can always go back and see that. And yeah, Karen, I think the annual subscription does automatically renew. So you have to, you would have to tell them if you didn't want it to renew after the year. But if you have any questions about the subscription upgrade or any of those kinds of things, always feel free to send an email to hello@silkandsonder.com and they can answer those questions for you. Probably better than Jen and I can, because we don't, like I said, we don't have access to a lot of the different things. So Thank you all so much for joining us. I hope you're feeling good about this week moving forward. Love to see you all here. Love the ideas. It's so fun to see everyone sharing. Have a fabulous rest of your week as we dive into September. We've got some September monthly setups coming this week. So hopefully you'll be able to catch one of those so you can get September all set up. And we will hopefully see you again at one of our socials soon. Take care, everyone.
Tonight, I can take the heat, baby, best believe that's the moment I shine. 'Cause every romance shakes and it bends, don't give